Hey guys, it's Dave G back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing 10 things WWE want you to forget. Edge. Number 10. His first title win was at a house show that lasted one day. Edge is one of the most decorated WWE performers ever. He won nearly all the titles you could win, and also won King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, and capped off his career with Hall of Fame induction too. However, his first taste of gold was not impressive at all. It wasn't televised. Edge won his first Intercontinental title in WWE during a house show in Toronto, July 1999. It is the hometown of Edge, or close enough. Somebody at the show decided that it would be a smart idea to put the title on him. The next night at the fully loaded pay-per-view, thanks to a distraction from his valet. In those days, it was easy to be distracted. So he lost the title in one day due to a distraction by a woman. One-day title reign. Soon after that, he started Team Christian on a more regular basis, the best teams ever. You can actually watch the match on the Decade of Decadence DVD that WWE produced about Edge in 2008. It's one of those title reigns that is pretty much forgotten when talking about the great moments of his career. Number 9. He feuded with Booker T over a shampoo commercial that exists. Sounds legit. These two guys have nice hair, let's have them feud over a shampoo commercial. Yeah, that must have been the conversation in a creative meeting at some point. It was either that or somebody threw it there as a joke because they really had nothing for either guy. So they made up the story that they were competing for in a Japanese shampoo commercial. The storyline led to a match at WrestleMania 18, his hometown, in Toronto, where he went on to beat Booker. They even really pushed the feud as a big deal. It was just something for two minors to do. It was also a really stupid idea for a story that makes you who approved of the thing in the first place. If you're wondering, Edge never did get his Jap commercial. It was as real as Pat Patterson winning the Intercontinental title in Brazil, and residents from parts unknown evolving into WWE superstars. Number 8. His poor performance in that Highlander movie. Looks like you lost your edge, lad. Edge is currently starring in the TV show Haven. It's something that has become a natural fit for him after a successful career in wrestling. He actually made his debut in the Highlander Endgames film back in 2000 when he was in his mid-20s. He ended up getting into a fight in the film because anytime a wrestler is in any film, it seems like they're always getting into a fight. He had a few lines that he delivered in unmemorable fashion. Edge also starred in a WWE movie called Bending the Rules that was not that successful, which is a common thing among a lot of WWE films. As mentioned, though, he has found success with the TV show Haven. Number 7. He made out with Alicia Fox when she was a wedding planner. The Edge character thrived in the mid-2000s. He was a jerk. When he was a babyface, he wasn't able to get over the top as a main event level player. But once he went heel, he found a way to break through. Part of it had to do with the fact that he slept with Lita when she had a boyfriend, but it was also because he was a natural at playing a jerk. When Edge was scheduled to get married to Vickie Guerrero on SmackDown on July 17th, 2008, he did so because Vickie was the GM of the show. He used her to get what he wanted. As they were about to get married, Triple H showed up with video of Edge kissing the wedding planner that happened to be Alicia Fox. Vickie freaked out, and that ended the show. He did end up marrying Vickie after, but they got a divorce years later too. Over the years, they never really addressed it because in WWE's world, once you got past the storyline, you just never go back to it. As for Alicia Fox, she is the first woman to ever go from being booked in an awful gimmick like a wedding planner to becoming Divas Champion, so at least she can be proud of that. Number 6, his spear and raunchy on Beulah at EW One Night Stand 2006. Edge had a lot of great matches in his WWE career, from his years to a singles wrestler to his tag team matches with Christian, and even his 6-person tag match at the 2006 ECW One Night Stand. The match saw Edge teaming turned heel Mick Foley and Edge's girlfriend Lita against Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Dreamer's wife Beulah. It was supposed to be a match featuring just the 4 guys, but they decided to add the girls to the show. The match was a wild brawl full of weapons, a barbed wire board, loose barbed wire used to cut body parts, fire, and a lot of things that we never saw at WWE events. It was ridiculously violent, yet what they did really worked. There were so many things people remember about the match, but it's the finish that really sticks out. That's because Dreamer's wife Beulah the spear as she had went after Lita. Violence against women wasn't something banned in WWE, but it was done so rarely that when he did it, everybody was shocked. It was a jerk move. It wasn't just a spear though. Edge ended up pinning Beulah in the sexual position known as the missionary position. The ref asked, "What the hell are you doing?" while announcer Joey Styles called it a disgusting cover. Those comments were a case of both guys reacting to a heel. but there were likely fans watching at home and officials in WWE wondering the same thing. Number 5. His real-life affair with Lita led to second marriage ending. Edge has been married twice. His first marriage was to a woman named Alana Morley, 2001, who was the sister of fellow wrestler Val Venus, and they divorced 3 years later. Later, in 2004, Edge remarried again, this time to a woman named Lisa Ortiz. That marriage lasted about 1 year before their divorce, in part because of Edge's much publicized affair with Lita, who was Matt Hardy's girlfriend at the time. Normally, a man's personal life isn't something we might talk about, but since WWE put Edge's relationship with Lita on screen, it became public knowledge. Not only that, but his wife made some very interesting comments when the info was out there. Here are some of the comments that Edge's then-wife Lisa wrote in April of 2005 that was on Matt Hardy's website message board. This was the biggest story in wrestling in 2005. It was huge, especially because Matt and Lisa were saying a lot of stuff on the internet too. WWE initially fired Hardy around this time, but they brought him back to feud with Edge, and then Edge went on to become a major star with Lita as his manager. The whole situation was a mess for Edge's personal life, but for his career, it truly launched him to that next level, and he would go on to earn that Rated R Superstar moniker. Number 4. His last match was not at WrestleMania 27. When Edge was forced to retire from wrestling in 2011, he announced it to the world on the April 11th edition of Raw. That show was 8 days after WrestleMania 27, where Edge defeated Alberto Del Rio in a match where he retained the World Heavyweight title. A lot of people believe that WrestleMania 27 was when he had his last match, but it really wasn't. It was the last one that was televised. But he did take part in a match 2 days later at the SmackDown taping in Charlotte, North Carolina. His final match was a 10-man tag team match with Christian, Big Show, Triple H, and Rey Mysterio against Alberto Del Rio and The Core, in which Edge's team won. The last time Edge got physically involved in a match was also at that taping in Charlotte. It was when Alberto Del Rio was facing off with Edge's buddy Christian, and Brodus Clay was outside the ring as Del Rio's buddy. Edge prevented his interference by hitting a spear. Edge immediately grabbed his neck. The following Monday, he announced that he had to retire. Number 3. He used to be brothers with Christian, then it was ignored. Any fan of WWE over the last 15 years knows that Edge's best friend in wrestling and in life is Christian. The two men are childhood friends that grew up wanting to be wrestlers. They worked together in the indies in the mid-1990s, and then by the mid-1990s, they were both in WWE, with Edge arriving there first as a single star. After Christian showed up, they joined up with Gangrel to form the Brood. From the moment they were paired up, WWE told its viewers that they were brothers. A lot of people probably believed it because they were always together, were close in age, grew up in the same area, and had a similar look with the long blonde hair. That's something that WWE pushed for years, from their years as a tag team to their singles breakup in 2001, when they had matches against each other that were mostly won by Edge. Once the brand extension happened in 2002, they were on separate shows for the most part, and Christian also left for TNA in the mid-2000s. When he came back, they started to interact again, except that WWE completely dropped the idea that they were brothers. Suddenly they were acknowledged only as friends, as they told their story after the 2010 draft. It's not known why they made the change, but WWE likes to consider itself like a company that tells stories like a movie or television show. If that's the case, then you would never just change the relationship of two major performers like them. It's insulting to the fans. But that's nothing new. If you're a longtime fan, then you know that WWE has a tendency of completely dropping angles, and that's what they did with the brother relationship Edge and Christian. Number 2. He was once suspended due to steroid use. Edge was never known as a jacked wrestler with a huge build. Standing at 6'5", he was one of the taller guys on the roster, but he never had the body of guys like Triple H or Batista. His in-ring style was built around his athleticism, his speed, and ability to take risks. That's why it was surprising to learn that he used performance-enhancing drugs. In August of 2007, Edge was one of the biggest WWE names that was revealed in the Signature Pharmacy investigation that was posted by Sports Illustrated and covered by ESPN as well as other major news outlets. It came at a time following the Chris Benoit murders, when WWE was dealing with a lot of bad press. He was suspended for 30 days on August 30th, 2000, although it didn't really matter because he was out for about 6 months with a torn pectoral injury that required surgery. So he was on the sidelines at the time of the suspension. If he was healthy and holding the world title, it would have been interesting to see how WWE would have addressed it. He was likely not paid during that 30-day period, but it was never acknowledged on WWE programming, nor did it require any actions due to the fact that he was injured. When he was on the Off the Record show in Canada in 2005, Edge mentioned that he took HGH after returning from a spinal fusion neck surgery that cost him a year in his career. He was told by doctors that it would help the bones grow back around the screws and plate that were inserted into his neck. He claimed to have taken blood tests, consulted doctors, studied the drug, and got prescriptions before deciding to take them. Well, if he did all that before deciding to take them, he must have been... what's the word I'm looking for? iffy about it. Like, he didn't want to take him, but if it would give him more time of his career back, he would take him. Makes sense? The report said that Edge received somatropin, genotropin, and stanozolol between September 2004 and February 2007. We don't know how much he received or how often he received it, but it was enough that WWE suspended him for 30 days. He was never suspended by WWE again. Edge has not publicly commented on his suspension, which is standard because most WWE performers keep quiet when they are suspended. Number 1. The live sex celebration with Lita on Raw. This is the biggest moment that WWE wants you to forget, because it was something that took place before the company went PG in 2008, and it's not something that would air on WWE's programming today. If this episode of Raw was on WWE Network, it would likely get edited out. After Edge cashed in the first Money in the Bank briefcase to beat John Cena for the WWE title at New Year's Revolution in January 2006, he announced that the next night on Raw, he would have a live sex celebration in the ring with Lita. They put a bed in the ring on the January 9th, 2006 edition of Raw. Imagine what parents must have felt like if they brought their kids to that show. How do you explain that to them? WWE didn't become PG again until the summer of 2008, but that segment was unlike anything in the history of wrestling. They fooled around, then they went under the covers and looked like they were doing something when Ric Flair's music started up to interrupt them. Not surprisingly, this live sex celebration did great ratings for WWE because the audience wanted to see what would happen. The 5.2 rating, one of the highest ratings they did in over a year, and Edge bragged about it the following week. Obviously, we knew they weren't going to have any nudity in the segment, but there was a curiosity as to what they would do. Edge was able to fend off Flair, but John Cena came out and he actually hit Lita with the FU as a way to set up his Royal Rumble 2006 match with Edge, which Cena won. In case you really want to find a good quality video on YouTube, you're probably out of luck because WWE has done their best to get it off the internet. That's because it's the top moment in Edge's career that the PG-friendly company wants to forget. That's it for this week's edition of Things WWE Wants You to Forget. As always, guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, ABG, stay in peace.